But I have the other ones available in there.
Wait.
But
So, Luke, what are you drinking today? Coca-Cola.
Morning on the way to the gym and set my ukulele on top of the car and then drove off down the road.
I need a bow after that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Ojo! I learned my lessons from last night. What a welcome, thank you. I drink the most fruity drinks imaginable.
It's laundry day.
it's laundry day.
So you always wear hats with laundry day.
Peter did you a favor, James. I just say, no, believe it.
So how did you two meet?
Well, there's these places in San Francisco. I think they're called bathhouses.
It's like one of those things where everyone wants to focus on like the big events that happen, but day to day, what we're doing is we're on like some of our draw streams, smoking weed, making comics. It's chill. It's so much fun, and like
Yes. Man, I'm not a YouTuber. I do this because I want to sell comic books. Woo! Yes, guys. It is Sunday. This means another episode of A Drink With Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their hopes and their dreams and their lives, but also their books and their campaigns. Because I'm done with mainstream. Mainstream comics suck, and indie is where the passion is, guys. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. My weekend is good. It's good, guys. We are the campaign is now 1 week. We launched 1 week and 1 day ago, and it's going very well. We one more backer, and we're at 90 backers. So if you back, if you're watching, if you're in the chat, if you back today, let us know so we can celebrate. Yes, thank you so much. We're doing we're working on the books. So we have 2 books, Perfect 10 5 and POWERTRIP book 2. And POWERTRIP book 2 is almost done. It's like 90%. And we still need some work with Perfect 10 book 5, but we're all on schedule. It's looking fantastic. I'm getting art, guys. It's just best book ever. So and today, guys, it's a little bit different. Oh wait, Mike is in the chat with us. Good evening, Dave, and a Geladaa and good drink to you both on this moderate Sunday. It's a moderate Sunday, temperature wise. Yeah, it's very doable here. So it's very doable here. And Alan Goldman cover, Dave. Holy shit! Yeah, I know. I know the Alan Goldman cover looks fantastic. So we are preparing something for Fuck My Comic, right? I want to do a thing on Fuck My Comic because I want to support Fuck My Comic, but because Fuck My Comic has some limitations, I can't bring like 36 add-ons to Fuck My Comic, right? So Indiegogo is something where that works, so I can do that part of the campaign, and I can make something extra for the people on Fund My Comic. And I need to think of a way, if you backed on Indiegogo and I have something to offer on the Fund My Comic, that somehow you can combine it. I'm still thinking about all of this, but it'll be great. Whatever we do, it'll be awesome. The Alan Goldman cover is mind-blowing, guys, and it's now inked by Tiago Gomez. He's inking it, so he's not done. He's in the process. So sometimes he sends me updates, and he is so good, guys. He's so good. And inking Alan Goldman's pencils is quite tricky because he's very it's very loose and sketchy, and so an inker has to know what they're doing. Dr. Ino, welcome, Dr. Ino. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you today. I hope you're having a good day. Guys, it's time for the guest. And this time, it's a little bit different than usual. Usually, I have a guest because I have a campaign to show. And we go through the campaign, right? This time, it's someone who, it's an artist. He has he has this very, very unique style. And it's very, very interesting to talk to him about his creative process. And if you're watching, you have questions for the guest for today, drop it in the chat. We will ask him. So let's do this. Let's see. Do I have it ready? I have it ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I have a very warm welcome for the guest of today, Geladaa.
Yes,
Hi.
hello.
Hi.
I am actually not sharing my screen. I thought I was sharing my screen. Hello. Let me see.
You will share. You were sharing it, but I hadn't brought it up yet. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well, very well.
So you have to redo what you just undid.
There it is.
There
works.
it is. All right.
Okay, great.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello.
First,
Yeah. I'd like to
That
say
works.
hi.
Okay, yeah. Hello, everyone. I am Geladaa, or Pablo. Pablo Rincon is my name. I'm a Mexican comic book artist, indie comic book artist, successfully indie comic book artist for the moment. At least
Wow.
my previous campaign that was here in this show, I was really glad to have it here in the show to share it with you all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was successful. Probably because I was
Excellent.
in the show. I think that was the key determining factor in its success.
You think?
It definitely helped. It must.
But
have
it was.
been,
But
yeah.
you said it was successful. What is your definition?
I mean, I
of
just
success?
set a threshold for what I thought would be I would require to get the product, to get the comic book to the people that wanted it, and I crossed it. Basically, that's the idea. It's a big deal for me. Of course, I'm not talking about I didn't gather like $1 million or something like that, but it was enough for me to call it a success.
Right.
And
okay, cool. In the chat, there's Mo Biggs. Oh wait, Mo Biggs. Hail the chat. Hail Mo Biggs. Welcome. Welcome to
Hail.
the chat. Excellent, and he's already sharing links. Thank you so much, Mo.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm not really used to having like moderators, so this is fantastic. What's good, guys? That's for the chat. I think that's for the chat, but I can ask you also, Pablo. What's good?
Well, everything is great. I mean, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. It's really quite harrowing, all the events. We're not gonna. I don't think we really want to delve too deeply into that at the moment, but but I mean, at least it it's the idea of what's the ancient curse, like may you live in interesting time. That's right.
It's definitely interesting.
Definitely interesting times to be alive right now, I think.
Yes. And I sometimes think that our function within this era is more important than ever, because we just provide like art and entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And so and other people can bring the misery.
I actually want to maybe disagree a little bit, because
Okay.
already I disagree. Now the thing is that entertainment is super important, and I love entertainment, but I am maybe in the minority that want to really not to provide some solace, some respite from the chaos, but rather to tackle it, to really do comics that are not about the issues, in a direct way. Like, I'm not gonna feature, important political figures of our time or things like that in my comic books, not at all. But I want to, tackle the complexities, maybe through in a dreamlike fashion. That's the idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this means that you're working on something that kind of facilitates that. You can work it in there.
Yeah, I don't know if
like social commentary, for instance. You can work that into your work.
Like, the main thing I want to, everyone has this experience of facing this wall, like interminable wall of information and pictures. And if you open Twitter, or if you have open some sort of website, any YouTube or Google or anything, you are faced with this very imposing wall of color pictures and data and news and things that are very intimidating. So the main thing I want to face up to in my work is that sense of overwhelming information and overwhelming stimuli, So that's what I want to try and do. I remember when I was much younger that I used to go on Tumblr. Do you remember Tumblr?
Vaguely.
Well, yeah. It was pretty neat, because there was more of a sense of a curated museum, a curated personal museum for everyone. So there was much more of a theme, and you would go into Tumblr and there would be all of these pictures, and it was just so impressive as an experience to me. And I remember thinking, no art could ever compete with this. Like, it's too much. Like, no museum in the world can match like the fury of Tumblr or sites like that. And nowadays it's Twitter, the main space, I believe, or maybe I don't know, TikTok.
You mean the sheer volume?
The sheer volume, and it's all at the same time.
Yeah.
And you have access to so much, and it's so overwhelming. And I want the main thing I want to do as an artist is to do art that somehow manages to respond to that sort of thing. So
so your art is more reactionary to the world and to things that you find important.
Not so much to things, but to the entirety of it. Like, for example, in the picture that you're kindly sharing right now. No,
yes.
It's a picture from actually the third chapter in my ongoing series. It's called In Hell. I talked about it. Yeah.
This was from the book that you funded.
No, this is actually from the third chapter.
Okay.
The book that I funded was the first chapter.
Right.
I am now working on the second chapter, but I really wanted to do this picture, which is sort of what comes after what I'm working on right now. And yeah, it's like the idea, for example, in this page is that you have I wanted to do a sort of illustration of the blank page. The idea that as an artist you face up to the blank page, and it's sort of like taunting you. Like, the blank page can be so intimidating as an artist. I have the duty to fill it up right?
Okay.
So there's this sort of idea of characters that are sort of contending with the blank page, and the crystals and the sort of rainbow rock formations and everything that come from that are the things that are latent in the blank page. Like the structures that you immediately project onto the blank page as a person, as an artist, maybe. And of course, there is a story that is going on here, but that would be like the thematic subtext of how I'm trying to make something that can face up to the complexity of the world today, where you have just so much information. Like the rainbow rocks and the blank page would be part of that idea for
The
me.
rainbow rocks. All right.
Yeah.
But it is like what you're making is a comic, right? It's a story.
Yeah,
Started
it's a
3
story.
years ago. This is
It's
issue
a-
3, so there is this longer story.
Yeah, there is a very concrete story. There is a very concrete, it's about events. It's about, different. For example, in this one, there's the
Oh, what's
rainbow
this?
as well, and there is a very concrete story. There is a very, there's characters, there's drama, there's adventure, there's action, there's romance, all of that.
Is this picture you're showing right now? Is that part of the same comic book, of the same story?
This is from another comic book that is
Okay.
also somewhat part of the campaign, because I have different comic books that are available on my website, and
Yeah.
they're either science fiction or fantasy, and they're all pretty high concept, strange stuff. And
Right. So
now,
people can go to your website. The link, by the way, is down below, guys.
that's
And
right.
people can read comics there.
They can if they register an email, they get there's a lot of samples. There's a lot of pictures and paintings and things for you to look at and to be entertained by. There is also a blog that I update more or less weekly with new art from my ongoing series and different thoughts and feelings about the world of comic books. And if you register an email, you get to have the first like a sizable slice from my ongoing project, as as a bonus.
Right.
On your email. Yeah.
Okay. Great. And these comics, these are digital, or are they printed?
They were printed. I am working on getting them printed again in the near future. For the moment, they're digital. I like to remind people that you can't really have colors of the same quality on print compared to those you can have on your screen. You can
Right.
look at them really big on your screen. Well, if you have a big screen on your TV, maybe. So yeah, I understand that everyone wants to have a physical object, but for the moment, I want to just remind people that there are some advantages to having it be
Sure.
digital. Yeah.
So from an artistic standpoint, you prefer to present your comics through the screen.
I like both. Of course, I buy comic books physically, and it's really, really pleasant to own them and to hold them. But there are pros and cons to the two ways of consuming
Sure.
comic books. So for the moment, since I just have digital comic books available on my website, I just want to remind people that there are some very, very concrete pros to looking at them on the screen.
Sure.
That's all. Yeah.
You know what I find so fascinating about your art is that it uses so many different styles and techniques, and so it's never boring to look at. There's something
Thank
different
you. They're very
throughout,
kind.
right?
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, I'm really happy that you enjoy it. Like I said, I wanted to try and contend with things like Tumblr and Twitter and places that are very overwhelming and filled with information. So one of the main things that I noticed in those spaces was, for example, that people would take slices from movies out of their context, Like, for example, they would take all the bits and pieces from Ghostbusters that feature ghosts,
Right.
and suddenly when you have just that bit of the movie, you can imagine a different movie without human characters. Like, how would Ghostbusters be if all the characters were just cartoonish looking, ghosts? So suddenly, because you take something out of context, you now have like a seed that can become in your mind a new movie, a different thing.
Sure.
So I was really, really interested in this phenomenon of how things taken out of context can just sprout new worlds. And
look at that art style. That's so unique. So what are your influences regarding art? By the way, welcome Jim Cox.
Well, yeah, to respond to that and carry on with a different the idea why it looks maybe pretty diverse is because I have I make this conscious effort of seeking out references and things that are to assemble a kind of rainbow vision. So whenever I find something that I want to put in my comic, I try to, study it and get it to a place where you feel that it's a small slice from a different world.
Right.
Like, for example, all of these characters that you see on screen, each one of there's different costumes, and each of them represents, in a way, a different universe, a different dimension of possibility. So it's very important for me to emulate some of what makes that dimension unique, and that's why the final product often ends up looking, like a collage, like a pastiche of very different things, because there's that rainbow dimension to it.
All right, but that's like a consequence of your style, right? It's not like...
a consequence of my ambition.
Sure.
I try not to have really a style.
Okay.
Beyond the fact of trying to get it to coalesce into something that looks correct, like I beyond making the picture look correct, I try to make it as diverse as possible. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Mike says all of your work is so animated across varied styles, Geladaa.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Well, I really appreciate your comment. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah.
Well, it is true. You have something unique. So this is why I wanted to talk to you about this, about your thought process behind this. So what are we looking at here? What's this from?
This is from my first comic book. It's called. It has sort of an elaborate title. It's called "Secret Reunion in Carfax Lodge."
Right.
And it's a reference to Dracula, actually, the house that Dracula is he buys in London is in Carfax Abbey. So there's this. It's kind of a lot of my work is very influenced by Dracula. I really like that novel and that character. So you could imagine, for example, this character as a sort of Dracula-esque figure, and it's this sorcerer, this sort of werewolf sorcerer that is the protagonist of my first book, and he's doing some sort of strange magic here, and This is so interesting. Usually with sequential art, it's called sequential art because you're telling this story, and each a panel follows from the next, right? So you have this story that's being told, but your approach is almost like every panel is its own little story. You can basically take the panel out, blow it up, hang it to the wall, right? Yeah, the first book is like that, because the first book is pretty much there are some panels at times, like for example here you have 2 panels, but it's more of a sequence of paintings. The first book, The subsequent books I did do have more of a traditional comic book structure. Like, for example, here you have a sequence of panels. So this is more like a traditional comic book. I like to do a lot of different things.
Crazy. Look at that. You just white. You use just white, and with that you build your atmosphere.
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
Yeah. I like. I want to keep the reader guessing. I don't want people to feel bored while they're reading my stuff. I want them to be surprised at each time they turn the page to have to face up to something. Yeah.
The background is much like these PNG files when they have like transparent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, for example, you see here I have like these ruins of a temple that is like a square grid. You can see it there. And so the idea is that you have two different square grids. You have the one that is kind of the Photoshop, way, the way that Photoshop expresses transparency. The idea of the gray and the gray and white checkerboard is to inform you that there is no data. There is no information there. There is no white. There is no black. So you have this sort of contrast between the ruins with the grid, with the square grid versus so there's a lot of ideas that I try to put
that's wild
in my comic books.
Your mind works interesting. Welcome, Immortal Rising comic book. He says, hey Dave, hey Geladaa.
Hello, Immortal Rising.
Mike says, that is fascinating. I could always stare at a piece like that rather than all of post-modern crud hanging on modern museum wall.
Yeah.
This is art, man. This is really it's like not for the regular comic book reader, right?
Well, I want to reach as many people as I can, of course, and I don't think anyone has to feel alienated. The way I think about it is, everyone has pretty strange dreams now and then, right? I think everyone has had at least some dreams that they really don't know what what it was about the dream. So if anyone can have strange dreams, anyone can enjoy art that is like a strange dream. You don't need to you don't need to interpret it in some specific way. And there is a story, like there is something to just understand on the first level. It's just that I want to make something that can be mysterious and that can reward people that want to, stay in there a bit longer and to just try to ponder it and delve into it. I want them to feel rewarded by I want there to be a mystery there for them to find. That's the idea.
Yeah. For instance, this, right? Is this one image with on the right, or is it?
This is a double page.
Double page.
It would be, I always try to work with spreads because I feel that that's everything should add up to a painting. So I want you to open the comic book and to have a big picture, and then for that picture to be maybe composed of different panels. So you have this sequence of a character that lands into sort of Google rather, and then on the page on the right, she's sort of browsing the web. You could say like it was a virtual reality, So there is a sequence. It's a comic book, but it's also meant to work like a painting. So that's why I call my comic books hieroglyphic comic books.
Oh, okay.
Like most comic books would be, by my definition, cinematic, where you only have just like a story being told. But hieroglyphic comic books pretty much are just comic books that are meant to be read slowly, where every panel has some sort of layers of code into it, various levels of ideas into them. So you can enjoy looking at it for a long time if you want, or you can rush through it and get, like the sensation of a movie. You can do both. That's the idea.
So are there more artists that approach like work like you do, like Hieroglyphic? They make
Uh,
the same style of books.
Let me think. I think that Chris Ware. Do you know Chris Ware?
No.
He's actually he's actually really famous, but he's not into superhero comics.
Sure.
He does. He did a comic book that is called Jimmy Corrigan, that was really popular in USA. I believe he's from. I'm not sure if he's from Canada or from USA, but I don't like the themes in his works very much, but I greatly admire like the formal quality of his work, and I think that I'm a little bit, that would be a little similar to what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Yeah. Chris Ware, I really recommend it to people because it's really interesting. Even if you don't like it, it's something that you should know about. I believe it's a big deal. Yeah.
We'll Google that.
Google that. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Really cool. What else? What else can you show us?
Well, lots of stuff. Yeah, I have different stuff. These are like slices of panels, for example, from my second book.
So crazy that the checkered like gradient you have. How do you come up with that? You know, it's really unique.
Yeah, this the big splash.
Yeah, this one was crazy.
It's a censor version. Actually, you have the little censorship hearts on the top.
So be aware, guys, when you visit Geladaa.com, sometimes you see like
you see a bit of nudity and some
things, right?
naughty things, but it's not of course my work is not really meant to be, no,
it's not straight
something
up
to jerk off to. No. but there is that element, and how do I try to, the way I think about things is very kind of systematic, and I try to that was the DC Comics character, was the host of the Spectre. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Really? I don't know.
Jimmy Corrigan.
Michael know. He says like an Adult Swim cartoon.
Adult Swim. There's some of that. People actually, I completely understand the viewer that talked about the postmodern things in a derogatory way. I completely, totally understand that feeling. I have to sort of come clean. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I don't. Of course, now people are gonna take it like a challenge. Yeah, it can be done.
Geladaa.com. Here we go. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I actually think of my work as postmodern. Yeah, I have to admit to that a little bit, but it's just about identifying places to make choices in and trying to make interesting choices for the reader to discover.
Sure.
So that's mainly the idea.
Okay, so you have basically a underlying story, right? So when you sit down for a new page, do you know beforehand what the page should look like, or do you just let it happen? Does it change from week to week?
Yeah. No, I do try to develop very systematic, how do you say it? Like I want to, like my mind for me is at times a very overwhelming space. So I try to impose some order onto it. All of my comic books have concrete, specific stories. So there's
every little detail, like this creature within the circle there.
Yeah, it's
all little pieces of
example,
art together.
You can see, for example, in this panel. Let me zoom in.
That's crazy, man.
You have, for example, it's a little bit pixelated, but you have this character. It is kind of a Superman character, you see, and he's emitting this laser beam, and actually the laser beam is sort of this death ray that he even cuts himself. Like here you can see that he cut his own tongue and his own snout off.
Oh,
and he sort of destroys everything around him. All the characters, for example, in this panel have been cut by his gaze,
right.
and it's sort of a Fall of the Rebel Angels motif with this Superman-looking werewolf that sort of cutting everything to shreds. So
This world is crazy.
like the script for these, I would have a script and it says the Superman werewolf, fucks shit up, cuts everyone up into pieces, right? And that would be like the notes for this double page, right? And
What
then
what is it? What is it with all the words? You have words scattered over the page.
Yeah, the idea is you see on the page to the right that he's cutting everything up. So he also cuts up the sort of temple where there's this big battle royale among the wolves, like you in the previous page. You see here there's a lot of characters that are fighting amongst themselves, and then as the characters kill each other, they sort of multiply. So you have, for example, on the top of the screen, you have characters that died, and then they produced other characters, the ones that are falling. You see with the trails of blood. So it's like a multiplying battle, like a multiplying battle royale.
Wow.
And
But there's,
go ahead.
You also use little like text or dialogue, right? So you have to,
there's text. Yeah. Of course. I mean, so for example, here you see the text says the ghost proves too great for its shell, wolves and shadows. But then you have to make an effort to try and read it. It says wolves and shadows and temple both fall in pieces, and the word pieces is cut up. So you have to think that the wolf is actually cutting up the text of the comic book.
Holy shit, man!
And then you go Sigle. That's the name of the sort of pink-haired girl that is there. Sigle ducks and weaves and serpents, beyond the speed of sight. So the idea is to have something that is very stimulating for the reader, and it also, I mean, to be honest, it's something that is meant to require a certain amount of effort from the reader.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was about to say, when you pick up your book, you have to be in a certain mindset, right? You have to switch to a different frequency to follow it, right?
Yeah, like you're just meant to make an effort. Like you can enjoy movies that are, the turn your brain off kind of movie. And just have a relaxing time. But there are also times where you want something that is kind of a challenge, and that is, that has some meat to it, that is more difficult. There's room for both in the world, I believe. So mine would be on the later side of the equation.
Mike says, even so, then Geladaa, I would rather look at your checkered postmodern backgrounds than the massive blank canvases of white that sell for millions. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Your work can be in museums, man.
I would like it for it to be in museum. I'm actually I believe I know which artist he's talking about. He's the, how is he? What's the guy's name? Rothko. I believe he's Mark Rothko, the guy that is famous for doing blank canvases that are worth millions of dollars.
Look,
actually,
man, when you can earn millions with doing nothing, then why not just do it?
I mean, the idea with that guy is that he used to do really detailed pictures,
right?
And little by little, they sort of became blank. So the people that are buying the blank canvases are buying sort of a piece,
sort of final piece,
the journey. They are sort of investing in the journey and the historical moment in art. So it's not really that you're meant to just look at the blank canvas and be impressed. You have to know the entire story. But I completely understand that way. I mean, I just want to provide cool stuff to look at for my readers, of course, and cool stories.
This is crazy stuff, man. Really, really interesting. Like Mike says, it's Walt Disney Fantasia, but given more acid.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That works. Yeah. Psychedelic stuff.
Aaron says, I've had Geladaa on my show a couple of times. Great conversations. Glad to see him again. He's got a big artistic brain with interesting designs.
I'd be really glad to go on your show again. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm really glad that people like
what's the story here behind this picture?
This is also from my second comic book, and you have these two characters that are kind of they're meant to be like the big battle royale that I showcased before. Sort of is sort of a distillation process through which these sort of gods, these divinities are invoked. You can say, like they eliminate each other until there's just a few of them that remain, and these would be two of them. And they're it's a ballerina kissing a wolf, so you have to sort of imagine why she would be doing that. I mean, it's a handsome wolf. You have to.
Sure.
I believe he's kind of a handsome wolf. But yeah, there's a lot of there is a lot of sexual and violent content on my work.
Right.
I have to admit, none of it would be. It wouldn't be fair to call it pornographic at all.
No.
It's not pornographic, but I don't want to censor myself. I want for people to be able to expect the unexpected when they read my books, and that includes, gore and sex and on everything.
Yeah, it's clear. It is clear that you don't really live to like limits, like boundaries, with the way that you tell stories, with what you expect from people who choose to consume your work, right?
Yeah.
You just do whatever feels natural to you. Even with styles, you go across the board from one style to the other. Whatever works for that scene.
Yeah, I like you said, I don't want to limit myself.
Yeah.
I don't want for people to feel safe either. I want people to feel like, anything can happen. And I don't want people to feel it's random either, because there's that other aspect of things where it's just crazy stuff for the sake of doing crazy stuff. Like, no, there's a very concrete story. There's very concrete ideas. There are things for you to discover if you delve into it. But it's, a sort of wild and unchained universe of imagination. That's the goal, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, this is also something that you would like associate with like marketing or something, like commercials or posters for products or whatever. Something. I think you did you ever do something like that?
I follow some accounts, for example, in Facebook that showcase old commercials, mainly from the USA. And I think there used to be really gorgeous in magazines, those commercials that had big wads of text also, and illustrations. There were a lot of beautiful illustrations to go along with many of them. So that's an influence of in my work. I feel it's kind of a shame that nowadays for example, the movie posters are so lame compared to the ones in the past. So I try to consume a lot of different stuff and have it inform my work and yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember these.
Yeah,
so
these
you
are
have some main characters for your books, right?
Exactly. Yeah. This is my latest project. It's called In Hell. I like to describe it as Power Rangers meets The Breakfast Club, and maybe Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice meets Power Rangers meets Breakfast Club. That's kind of the idea. Yeah. Yeah. So you have these archetypes,
archetypes. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. That's
so
cool.
The jock, the blonde, the nerd. The girl here is meant to be, the artistic girl you once knew. That sort of kind of thing. There's a feminist also, to be current, with the times.
Sure. Yeah.
And So this is what I will be. I might. If you'll have me, I hope to be back here in some, maybe next year, maybe in some months with the second chapter for my Kickstarter.
All right.
This is
Excellent.
the project that I'm currently working on. Yeah.
Look at that. That's very Disney inspired, early Disney, right?
Yeah. Like Mickey Mouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
A Mickey Mouse kind of character, a little
Yeah.
clown.
And he was like the antagonist of this story.
There's actually no. Well, there will be an antagonist revealed later on in the story. The characters, like, they fight among themselves in the first chapter. Then I talked about Breakfast Club. I really like that movie because there's that empathy. There's the love that develops between the characters. So there's a similar arc in my book where at the start they have a very dramatic conflict between them, but as the story goes on, they sort of learn to really get along. But yeah, that's another thing that I try to not. You won't likely find like a villain in my books. It's more like everyone is a villain in my books.
Sure.
That's the idea.
This is across the board. You have your own unique approach, like storytelling. Also, usually you have the good guys, the bad guys, but you take things from a different angle.
I was always rooting for the bad guys as a kid. Even
why is
today. The main thing that really, really bothers me, like it really grinds my gears about heroes nowadays, especially heroes in comic books, is that they are always reactive. Like the Joker has some plan. He wants to mess things up. He is the one that is doing something, and then Batman has to respond to him. He's the one that tries to stop the Joker, or the Avengers try to stop Thanos, but they don't have, the balls to do something proactive. Like they don't have a project. Like, it's the bad guys that do things. The good guys are the guys that stop people. And that seems so lame to me. I really hate that. So I prefer someone that is completely evil, but has at least the balls to have a project, to someone that is just about stopping other people. So that's why I say like all my characters are villains, because they all have, egos and objectives and desires, and that's the
Sure,
general
but
idea.
not villains in the sense that actually villainous, but more like they're human beings with their own desires, right? And
Exactly. Yeah. Of course. I mean, they also do happen often to have pretty villainous desires, but those are human desires. I feel pretty villainous most days.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I want to do that. Yeah, to go with my evil dreams a little bit.
Yeah. We can all be jerks sometimes, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Wow. So do you use with these panels, for instance, do you use like references from photos, or is this all from the mind directly?
I do. I never ever trace anything.
Sure.
I gather a lot of reference for most of my pictures, but the thing is that I try to do that to better isolate the sense of merit in my work. So, like, for example, if I'm looking at a picture and I want to integrate some of what I like about it into my work, if I have the picture in front of me, I can compare it to what I'm doing, and I can say, hey, what is the merit? What is the value I added? Beyond just the collage of references. So I use a lot of reference, but I don't trace, and I try very much to add value or to change what I take on some fundamental level. Yeah.
Right. Are you self-taught, or did you go to school?
I did go to school. I went to a school in France.
Wow.
It's a good school. It's the same kind of thing, like a similar deal to Cal Arts in
Oh, really?
USA. Like it's not exactly the same thing, but it's
Similar.
a place where you learn to draw, because a lot of art schools, they're completely just communist indoctrination centers. They're not really about drawing, about telling a
Wow.
story, about making beautiful pictures. So the school I went to was very much about anatomy, perspective, color, animation, the fundamentals of storytelling. So I care deeply about that.
Right.
And also
Well, it's
about
France,
art.
right?
Yeah.
So you don't know the state of the school nowadays, but
I think the school
back
is
then it was a
going.
good school.
It was a good school. It's called
Mhm.
Emile Cole. Emile Cole is the name, and
All right.
yeah, it was a great place to learn. It was a pretty difficult time in my life.
Mm.
It was a pretty depressing time, but I learned a lot, and it was a great school. If someone wants to go there to learn to draw, I recommend it. You have to know French,
Yeah.
but yeah, France is a cool place to learn art in. It's a really artistic country.
Right. Yeah. A lot of like France and Belgium and the Netherlands. These countries, they are like pretty famous for their comics also.
Yeah, you have like
Franco
three.
Belgium
Yeah,
like
exactly,
scene.
like Tintin, and
Yeah.
like comic books in France are you if you go to a comic book shop in France, you find people from all ages. You find a lot of old men
Mhm.
and young girls and everyone in between, and it's
Together.
yeah. Comic
Yeah.
books in France are much more a much bigger deal than they are in USA, I believe. They're much more of a geek thing in USA, and in France, everyone reads comic books. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Wow. So this is like has a little bit of a Japanese vibe,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Like the Japanese robots,
Hmm.
Uh, if you see, it's this character that is meant to reference King Arthur. So
Okay.
he lost the fight, and he was killed. You see, he has a blade in his heart, and so
Right.
it's like the sword in the stone. It's just that instead of removing the blade from the stone, he removes it from his own heart, and in the process, he transforms into this sort of knight or robot-like knight character, Knight of the Holy Void R2R. Like Arthur, but R2R,
Right.
like R2D2.
I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Cool.
idea. Yeah.
Nice, man. Really cool. So you're working towards a new book, new campaign. When is that starting? Do you think?
Yeah, I'm working on that. I have my blog. I
Mhm.
blog often. Where is it? Here it is. So I put stuff into my blog often, where I showcase the process of coming up with the second chapter. If you register, you also have, I send you reminders that, hey, I posted some new art, check it out. So I do that stuff, and I promote other things, and I try to talk about different stuff that interests me. It's coming along great. It's just that it's a long process because, well, it's I try to make it as ambitious as possible. I try to not to consider anything but just the final product. So you can go to my blog and read about the ongoing process. Like, for example, let me see. If you click here, like there's some stuff about this anime series that I was watching, and then there's preliminary works where I show how it develops, and then as it goes along, you get more complete
Right.
more complete things. Yeah.
This is all through Geladaa.com, right?
Geladaa.com. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the link to this page is in the description of the video. If you want to check it out, there's a lot of stuff to see and to read.
Yeah,
Really
to
cool.
to check out. Yeah, I do some 3D. I've been learning to do some 3D sculptures, and I
Yeah.
want to. In my next campaign, I have a lot of art toys or designer toys that I want to sell as well, and to distribute as well for the people that are interested. I really like owning sculptures, little plastic sculptures.
Sure,
I think
sure.
it's really
Yeah.
it's really fun. Yeah.
So you do
So
3D printing.
I plan to do, you print a mold, and from that you
Mhm.
make toys for the people that want to buy
Oh,
them. Yeah,
right.
that's the idea.
By the way, wait. Sorry, guys. I missed it. Dr. Rhino has to go. See you later. Bye, man.
See you
Thanks
later.
for
Bye.
dropping by. Yeah, really cool, man. It's you're busy with a lot of stuff. Great. So what do you want people to take away from this? They can follow you. They can follow you towards your new campaign if they like what they see. What would you recommend?
If people are interested in my work, they can follow me in Twitter. It's at what is my Twitter? Let me see.
I have it right here. x.com Geladaa Comics.
There you go. You can follow me there, but mainly if you register an email on my site, I'm not gonna spam you with anything. I'm just gonna let you know that I've posted a new update on my blog. The update will always include, new art and new stuff for you to check out. So it's not I'm not gonna flood you with the stupid things. And eventually, hopefully soon, hopefully maybe this year, maybe early next year, I will have the second chapter available on Kickstarter, along with other stuff like my previous comics and maybe some plastic figures. But people can just buy my books right now on my website as well as digital files. They can do that. I have
Excellent.
A shop. Let me show you here.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Excellent. Interesting work.
Here, shop. And you can buy my different comics. I have, for example, this one. I didn't show you anything from this one. It's about the adventures of an ant, an anthropomorphic ant.
Oh.
And this one I'm really, really, really happy about. It's a shorter.
That's pretty new, right?
It's not new, but I put it on my website. Not so it's new on my website.
Yeah.
And I have these. I have my two other books, which is the first book that I showcased to you, and the second one. And then you have In Hell, the first chapter, and you can get a slice of In Hell if you register an email as well. So the main thing I would try to encourage people to do is buy my comic books right now, or maybe register at least an email, so you have a sample, a more sizable sample to check out and make your choice. That's the idea.
Copy this, put it in the chat, guys. There we go. Geladaa Comics. Oh, that's his. Wait, that's his YouTube.
I do videos as well. About different subjects. Yeah.
There you go.
That's another thing.
Geladaa.com. It's in the chat, guys. Go check out the site. Follow Geladaa. This is really cool. Really nice. Thank you for showing us, man.
Man, thank you very much for having me on again. I hadn't forgotten. I just I have a lot of things on my mind. It's my birthday. Like you wish me happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah. And so I have people coming over in a little bit. And
so for your birthday, guys, buy a digital comic for his birthday.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for being my guest, Pablo, and showing us your work. Really
Anytime.
Cool.
Thank you.
Guys, before we end, I need to close with something else because I have my own thing going on right now. If you like more traditional work, then maybe you will like Perfect 10 Book 5 POWERTRIP.
If I can just say, I always stop scrolling whenever I see one of your pictures, on my feed. Like that, in particular, you had one with one of the female characters, like near a bike. She was
that was
turning, and yes, it's like the art is gorgeous. Like the anatomy is really, really, really beautiful. Like the proportions there in the face of the girl, it's just so. Yeah, it's really sexy. It's really striking. I really love the stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Well, this is the good thing about this indie scene. You have something for everyone. A broad range of styles, interests. Yeah. Really cool. Mike says, happy birthday, Pablo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
And he also says, back that ass. So perfect 10, guys. Back that ass. We have two covers, cover A, cover B. It's by the same team, Pow, Daniel. They're working very hard to make this book look awesome. As you see, they're succeeding. And we have a second book, which is POWERTRIP, which tells 3 shorter stories made by different creative team, like Shadow Lion. It's drawn by either Messia from Brazil. And then we have The Flying Dutchman, which is written by myself and drawn by Pow. And then we have the last story is The Phenomenals, which tells a story about a group of free radical superheroes. So really, really cool. You can get your original art. So just tell Pow which character you want him to draw, and he will draw you anything. And we unlocked the first training cards. And we're almost at 7K, and we have now 89 backers. So who will be backer 90? Thank you so much for the support, guys. Let me stop this. Let me quit this. And Pablo, happy birthday. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And if you have a campaign, just reach out to me and we'll promote it here.
Thank you very much, and all the luck. I don't think you need too much luck with the product you're pushing. It's really gorgeous stuff, your comic books. But good luck anyway with your campaign, and thank you very much again for having me on again.
You're very welcome, sir. And special thanks to the chat. Thank you so much for showing up, for being here, for watching us. Without you, there's no point, right? So thank you. If you liked this conversation, give it a like. If you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike, and I'm very sorry. I will be back next week, same time, same channel, new guest. Hope to see you guys then. Bye.